He only saw a girl in a rain-dark coat, hair damp and stubbornly tidy, carrying more apology than air. I saw a lobby made of mirrors that could swallow a person whole. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe, so you won't miss the upcoming stories. For the next video, what kind of story do you love the most? Tell me in the comments. I hadn't come to be noticed. I came to clean the rooms my aunt couldn't reach because the fever took her voice and left only worry. Just sign in for me, Aunt Liza whispered over the phone, breath thin. Push the cart down the quiet floors. If anyone asks, you're on call-out duty, she coughed. I pressed the phone to my cheek like a prayer. The clock said 6:47 p.m. The rain outside said don't do this. The rent said go. The Celine Hotel glowed like a ship in a storm, glass swelling with light, doors breathing warm air and piano music. My shoes were wrong for any of it, rubber soles still smelling of bleach. I kept my coat tight so no one would see the uniform underneath. I told my reflection in the revolving door, you're invisible. That's the safest way to be. The lobby had its own weather, fresh lilies, the quiet thunder of rich laughter, the soft rain of ice in crystal. I slid along the edge of the carpet toward the service corridor, head down, the way you walk in a house that doesn't love you back. That's when the concierge said my name. Ms. Hart? His smile lifted like a curtain. Welcome to the Celine. I stopped. The coat in my lungs grew heavier. Sorry? Ms. S. Hart, he said, checking the iPad that was supposed to be more accurate than God. The storm had slowed the Wi-Fi, updates lagged. A silver note card gleamed on the marble, S. Hart, Aurora Suite. We're very honored. Mr. Vale has asked to greet you personally. I found my voice and almost broke it. I think there's, please, he said kindly, mistaking my panic for modesty. Let me take your coat. No, I wanted to say, because under it was the truth, Navy housekeeping, name pin borrowed from Aunt Liza, pockets full of rags and the smallest bottle of hope. But the concierge's hands were already there, gentle, professional, and the universe had a sense of humor tonight that made me its punchline. I gripped the lapels. It's a little cold, I said, and he nodded, misreading again. Of course. He gestured to the bar where the lamplight fell like warm honey. Mr. Vale is in the lounge. He pressed a key card into my palm, heavy, gold-edged, ridiculous. Aurora Suite, 34th floor. Aurora. A name that meant dawn, and I stood there in a storm about to pass itself off as morning. Then I saw him. He stood near the wide window, a man cut from the same fabric as the night, dark suit, rain-black hair, the kind of face the city spent time learning to describe. Elias Vale, the investor whose signatures moved continents. I'd read about him in articles that made his power sound like a verb. In person, he was quieter. Like wealth had taught him silence the way poverty had taught me apologies. His eyes shifted and found me. Something changed there, barely. The smallest softening. He put his glass down and walked over as if this was inevitable. Ms. Hart, he asked. I smiled, the only smile I could manage, the one you make when you're trying to hold a life together with your teeth. Yes, I said, and the lie slid out like a cough. Elias, he said, offering his hand. I took it because not taking it would be louder than any truth. His palm was warm. Mine was damp and contrite. Thank you for coming despite the weather. He glanced at the storm dragging its claws across the window. The city makes promises it doesn't keep. I'm used to that, I said before I could stop myself. He studied me the way people study a painting they can't afford, careful, wanting, defensive. I expected you earlier. I was finishing something. A hallway, I didn't say. A bathroom that smelled like other people's perfume. A mirror I wiped until I could see myself pretending not to exist. He nodded, not unkindly. Let me get you something hot. He lifted a finger and the bartender brought tea that tasted like someone else's idea of comfort. I held the cup because heat can be courage if you let it. Long trip, he asked. Not exactly, I said. The truth never fully died in me. It only slept with one eye open. You're here for? He paused, the question hanging like a ribbon. The concierge had not given him a story, only a name. To help, I said, which was honest enough to survive the night. He looked amused for half a second, as if I'd said a line he liked. That, we can use. He leaned in, lowering his voice not for secrecy but for intimacy, and my heart made an old mistake. Full disclosure. I asked to be introduced the second your name hit the system. We're courting a partnership with the Heart Foundation. Your counsel carries, wait. Foundation. Counsel. Another S. Heart, somewhere in the world, had a name that arrived before she did. The concierge had married us by initial, and here I was in the wrong dress at the right altar. I'm a poor substitute for my aunt, I said softly. Your aunt? He asked. She's ill, I said, which was true enough to be cruel. I took her shift. The last two words escaped before I could wrestle them back. His brows lifted, then gentled, misunderstanding again. You're very hands-on, he said. Most people send assistants to handle the unglamorous things. It's all unglamorous when no one's looking, I said. For a moment, something like respect moved through his expression. He tipped his head toward the glass doors leading to the terrace. Walk with me? The rain had calmed to a whisper. Outside, the awning held a trembling ceiling of droplets. Beyond it, the city shivered, lights smeared by weather. He held the door, and I stepped into air that smelled of wet stone and lemon oil. He folded the umbrella over us not because we needed it but because shelter is a language, and he was fluent. You look cold, he said softly. I'm all right. Do you always say that? When the alternative is complicated. A smile flickered and died at the corners of his mouth. You have a way of turning answers into doorways. You have a way of asking questions like keys. We stood there, an arm length apart, listening to rain that couldn't decide whether to leave. He turned to face me fully, the amber light catching in his eyes like something that might one day be warmth. I've spent the last 5 years in rooms that taught me to doubt first, he said. Forgive me if I'm rusty. Doubt keeps the floor from opening under you, I said. But it also keeps you from dancing. He looked down at my shoes. I looked down too and nearly laughed, rubber soles with a tiny split on the left. The glamour of invisibility. He noticed the way I tucked my foot behind the other, a reflex you learn when poverty wants to hide. His gaze lifted again, softer now. The welcome dinner starts in 30, he said. I would be honored if you sat at my table. I felt the ground tilt. I shouldn't. Should is a small word for a night like this, he said. Say you'll come. Not with command, but with an invitation that left my pride with a way out. I'm not dressed, I said. A coat isn't a gown. He hesitated, then said the thing a man like him can say and survive. We can fix that. The words should have offended me. They didn't. They made me tired. A life of wearing other people's names, other people's sizes, other people's patience. Still, I had a job to finish. Rooms on 12, the suite that smelled of oranges and an argument, the wine glass with lipstick like a bruise. Aunt Liza's list folded in my pocket like a vow. I can't, I said, but my voice wavered like a lie that wanted to be true. He didn't push. Then let me at least walk you to the elevators. He offered the umbrella again, unnecessary under the awning, necessary under the world. We stepped back into the lobby. The piano had moved on to something that sounded like apology. I kept to the carpet's edge, toward the service corridor and the familiar hum of machines that don't look you in the eye. He walked with me, a king in a country that wasn't mine, making space where there wasn't any. People looked up, concierge, bellman, the women in dresses that cost rent, and their eyes did the math rich people do out of habit. Why her? Why him with her? We reached the place where pristine marble gave way to scuffed tile, the seam where stories go quiet. This is me, I said. Thank you for the, what? Kindness. Mistake. The way he slowed his sentences so mine wouldn't trip. For the walk, he finished for me, as if he'd learned my language 2 minutes ago and could already conjugate regret. If you change your mind, the 34th is waiting. The door to the service corridor swung open and clipped my shoulder, not gently. "Watch it," Gina hissed, the evening supervisor whose eyes were coins no one ever earned. She froze when she saw him. "Mr. Vale. I didn't see you there." "It happens," he said pleasantly, a warning wrapped in silk. Gina's gaze snapped to me, inventorying in a second, coat too long, shoes too cheap, guilt too bright. "You," she said, throat low. "You're an old friend," Elias said smoothly, which startled both of us. Gina smiled a smile she'd use later to hurt someone else. "I was just telling Miss Hart," he continued, "that we'd be honored to have her at the welcome dinner. If there's any accommodation the hotel can offer." Gina's head bobbed like a marionette's. "Of course. We'll arrange everything." He turned to me. "You have my number." He didn't give it. He knew if I wanted to find him, I would. It was the kind of confidence that reads as arrogance until you see the bruise underneath. 30 minutes, he said quietly. Or never. Either is a decision. When he left, the air changed temperature. Gina's hand closed on my elbow. "What have you done?" Not a question. A sentence, sharp and stupid. "I came to help my aunt," I said. "That's all." "You came to help yourself," she spat. "And you'll cost Liza her job if you don't wipe that look off your face." "This look?" I asked, because courage sometimes grabs your mouth before sense does. "The one that says I'm tired?" She leaned closer, breath like old tea. "If you embarrass this hotel tonight, you won't work within 3 postcodes again." "I don't work here," I said. "I'm a ghost. All the easier to sweep you out." I pulled free. "I have rooms on 12, I said. "Move somebody else to the dinner." "I'm not going." But the problem with hunger is that it remembers the smell of bread. I went to 12. I stripped sheets with hands that had liked holding china for 5 minutes. I wiped mirrors and saw a girl who almost believed a wrong name could become a right life. At 7:19, I balanced a tower of towels taller than my past and told myself a story where I didn't want what was not mine. At 7:22, my phone buzzed. Aunt Liza. A photo came first, her thermometer, the red line forgiving her by a single mercy. Then a message, "If anyone is unkind, leave. But if a door opens and you can walk through without lying, walk. Do one thing tonight that doesn't make you small." A second later, "And don't forget to clock out." The humor wrapped around my throat like a scarf. I finished the rooms. I put the card in the closet and the uniform under my raincoat. I stood at the service elevator and watched the numbers climb and fall, like hope rehearsing. At 7:36, I stepped into the staff locker to wash my hands. On the bench lay a black dress covered by plastic, lost property waiting for a claim that never came. A note pinned to it, "Donation after September 30th. Today was the 31st. It would be thrown away, or made into rags. I shouldn't. The dress looked like a night sky that had kept its stars. I touched the fabric and it forgave me. In the mirror, I shrugged out of my coat. The housekeeping navy looked back at me, faithful, honest, tired. I hung the dress back. I lay my palm against it like a goodbye. Then I did a strange thing. I pulled the plastic down and checked the size. Close enough to wish. I put it on over the uniform because I couldn't bear to take off the thing that told the truth. The dress slid over the world I knew and asked me to stand up straighter. I did. I pulled my coat on top, the imposter sleeping under a better lie. In the service corridor, I tucked my braid into a chignon. In the guest hallway, I walked with my back less apologetic. At the elevator bank for the guests with last names that got them out of fees, I hesitated. 34, he'd said. Or never. I pressed the button like a sin that could be forgiven. The elevator rose. My reflection copied a woman I might become, chin lifted, eyes not asking permission. Doors opened into a foyer that smelled of sandalwood and old promises. Music swelled, the kind that makes you think good people win. A hostess smiled the way people are trained. Name? Hart, I said. The name sounded expensive with this lighting. She checked a list, found the letter, relaxed. Ms. Hart. Right this way. The ballroom bloomed, chandeliers like captured planets, tables dressed in white and expectation. Men with faces you'd seen in magazines, women with wrists that made the room sparkle, waiters moving like considerate ghosts. And at the center, Elias looked up and saw me. For a heartbeat, his face forgot caution. A softness crossed it that I wanted to keep. He walked toward me, unafraid of making his path obvious, and the crowd parted for him because wealth is gravity. You came, he said, low enough that it was only for me. I almost didn't, I said. But then I thought, sometimes storms are invitations. Sometimes they are, he said. His gaze dropped, then lifted. You look, he stopped, as if compliments were a language he didn't practice. I'm glad you're here. He offered his arm. I took it because pride can be practical, and because my knees were unreliable in rooms like this. He led me to a table near the dais. Name cards glinted. Hart sat between Vale and a chair labeled reserved. I stood there, dizzy with how easy it was to misfile a life. Ladies and gentlemen, the MC said, voice bright as cut fruit, please take your seats. Tonight, the Celine welcomes a partner whose vision. A hand closed around my wrist. I turned. Gina again, smiling like glass under a heel. A word, she said, syrup poured over poison. Elias straightened. If this is about seating, Ms. Only a moment, she purred. It concerns the hotel. She tugged me a step, then another, toward the foyer's side where a cluster of palms made a polite forest. In her hand, something glittered. My heart fell through the floor, my aunt's brass housekeeping key fob, the one with the etched 12F that had slipped from my coat when I sat. She dangled it between two fingers like earring. You dropped this, she said. Ms. Hart. Heat slammed into my face. Give it back, I whispered. Tell Mr. Vale what it is, she cooed. We wouldn't want the wrong impression. Elias had followed. What's going on? His voice was cool, but the edge showed. Gina smiled at him, then at me, savoring. I believe Ms. Hart left something in the service corridor, she said brightly. A keepsake from the people she used to supervise personally. Gina, I said, low. Stop. Or perhaps, she continued, eyes gleaming, she left it on 12. Where sheets are changed by hands that don't wear rings. She lifted the fob. Shall I read the number out loud? The room hadn't noticed us yet. But the foyer was a mouth that could carry sound into a legend. I felt the key in my stomach, a small, honest weight. Give it to me, I said, reaching. She pulled back. The chain slipped, the fob fell. I caught it before it hit marble, the reflex of someone who has dropped enough plates to know the cost. Elias saw the numbers then. He looked at the brass, then at me, then at the dress that didn't belong to anything I could claim. What is that? He asked, not unkind, not yet unkind. A mistake, Gina purred. All the best stories are. I swallowed. It's mine, I said. The truth stood up, finally. All of this, was never supposed to be. Then what are you doing here? Gina asked sweetly. Besides stealing a seat that doesn't have your name? It does, I said, holding up the card that said Hart with a defiant, accidental elegance. Tonight it does. On a list you didn't earn, she snapped. Elias looked at me, and I watched doubt enter him like weather under a door. It didn't slam. It crept. Gentle, invasive, expensive. Tell me, he said, quiet enough to hurt. Tell me the truth. I opened my mouth. The chandelier chimed as if the light itself had cleared its throat. My aunt's key bit into my palm. My coat slid from my shoulder and with it the edge of navy fabric showed, a blue confession stitched by other women's paychecks. Gina's smile sharpened, delighted. "Ladies and gentlemen," the MC sang from the stage. "Please welcome." "Housekeeping," Gina whispered, triumphant, just loud enough for the foyer to hear. And that is where the music found the edge of a cliff, and pushed. He didn't say anything for a long time. The room glittered behind him, applause spilling out from the ballroom like champagne. He looked at me, at the navy fabric under the borrowed dress, at the housekeeping fob in my palm. The expression on his face wasn't disgust, not yet, but something worse, understanding fighting its way into disbelief. "Before you continue, please like and subscribe." "Housekeeping," he said finally. Not accusing, not gentle. Just the words standing naked between us. "Yes," I said. My aunt was sick. I was helping her for one shift. "I never meant." Gina's voice sliced through me like polished glass. She never meant to fool anyone, of course. Her smile was poison disguised as civility. "But what a coincidence that you'd come dressed for dinner." "She didn't," I started, but Elias raised a hand. "Enough," he said. The air around us cooled, the way oceans retreat before the wave. He turned to me, his eyes unreadable. "You could have said something the moment I greeted you." "You didn't give me a moment," I whispered. His jaw tightened. "You let me introduce you as a partner to half this room." I tried to stop it. "But you didn't," he said. It wasn't a shout. It was disappointment sculpted into sound. I clutched the key fob like a talisman. I just wanted to finish my aunt's work. That's all. I didn't ask for your dinner, your attention, any of this. Gina laughed softly. "Oh, she didn't ask, Mr. Vale. She simply accepted." Elias turned to her, the veneer cracking. "Leave us." She blinked. "Excuse me?" "Now," he said. His voice had gravity. Gina's mouth tightened into something that would taste bitter later, but she obeyed, retreating toward the ballroom. When she was gone, he sighed. The sound hurt more than anger. "You don't understand what you've done," he said. "I do," I said. "I made a fool of myself. And of you. But it wasn't on purpose. I believe that." He looked away, toward the reflection of rain streaking the glass. "That doesn't mean it matters." The words slid into me like cold rain under a coat. "Then fire me," I said. "If that's what this is. Just tell HR I don't belong." He looked back at me, eyes sharp. "You think this is about employment? What else would it be about?" His expression softened for half a heartbeat, as if he wanted to say us, but then the wall went back up. "Go home," he said. "Before anyone else sees you." I wanted to ask why it mattered who saw me, but pride stopped the question. I nodded, turned, and walked toward the elevator. My shoes echoed in the marble silence. I didn't cry. Not yet. The elevator doors closed on his reflection still watching me, and the city below blurred like something washing itself clean. I didn't go home. I went to 12. To the rooms I'd promised to finish. I scrubbed at stains that weren't there until my palms went raw. The hum of the vacuum cleaner covered the noise in my chest. Around midnight, I sat on the housekeeping cart and laughed quietly, the kind of laugh that trembles too close to a sob. That's where he found me. The sound of his shoes on the tile made me flinch. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "Neither should you," I said. "The rich don't haunt service floors." He stopped a few feet away. I couldn't sleep. "Try the 34th, I said. "The air's thinner there." He sighed. "You think I'm angry because of the lie. I'm not. I'm angry because I believed it so easily. Because I wanted to." I looked up at him. "Why?" He shrugged. Because for once, someone looked at me and didn't see a company. He glanced around at the stacked linens. Turns out she saw a shift she needed to finish. The joke broke something between us. I laughed once, quiet, shaky. "You're not very good at being cruel," I said. He looked down at me, rain from his hair dripping onto his collar. "I don't want to be." The silence after that was gentler than anything else that night. Then the elevator pinged. Gina's voice spilled out before her body did. "Mr. Vale," she said sweetly, "the board is asking why our esteemed guest vanished mid-dinner." He straightened. "Tell them I was taking out the trash," he said. Her eyes flicked toward me. "How appropriate." "Careful," he said, and it wasn't a warning, it was a verdict. She left, spine stiff, shoes loud. The air settled again. He looked back at me. "You said your aunt was sick?" "She's fine now," I said. "Better than me, anyway." He smiled faintly. "Then let me make sure she keeps her job." "That's not necessary." "Maybe not," he said, "but I owe you something." I stood. "You don't owe me anything." "I do," he said. "You reminded me what work looks like when it isn't about profit." I blinked. "That sounds rehearsed." "It isn't," he said. "It's exhausted." He took a step closer. "Sarah, right?" I nodded. "Sarah. You said you never meant for this to happen. What if I told you I'm glad it did?" I shook my head. "You shouldn't be." "Why?" "Because someday you'll hate yourself for thinking this was romantic." He smiled without humor. "Maybe. But not tonight." Days passed. The gossip burned bright and quick, then went out. Gina resigned under the weight of her own ambition. Aunt Liza returned to work, cleared, cautious. I quit quietly, leaving a note that said thank you for letting me borrow your name. A week later, I found an envelope under my door. Inside, a key card embossed in gold, a short note written in tight, deliberate handwriting. Aurora Suite, 8 p.m. EV. I almost threw it away. I almost didn't go. But curiosity is its own kind of faith. The suite was quiet, filled with the soft scent of jasmine. The rain had come again, patient this time. He stood by the window in his shirt sleeves, city lights scattering across his reflection. "You came," he said. "I shouldn't have." "Probably not." He smiled. "But neither should I." I crossed my arms. "If this is an apology, it doesn't need a suite." "It's not an apology," he said. "It's a beginning." "For what?" I asked. "For honesty." He gestured to the table set for two, simple, candlelight soft, not the spectacle of a hotel billionaire but something quieter. "I can't give you your name back," he said. "You never lost it. But I can stop treating mine like a weapon." I sat down slowly. "You don't even know me. I know you cleaned floors no one saw, and still looked at me like I was worth a kind word. That's more than most people have ever done." The rain outside deepened. He poured wine, then hesitated. "Or tea," he said quickly. "If you'd rather." "Tea," I said, smiling. "I've had enough rich things for a lifetime." He laughed, softly. "Fair." We drank in silence for a while. The candles bent toward each other like they were listening. "Elias," I said finally. "You could have ignored all this. Pretended it didn't happen." "I tried," he said. "It didn't work." I met his eyes. "Why?" "Because every time it rains, I remember the girl who said she was nobody, and made me wish I was too." I looked down at my cup, at the swirl of tea that caught the light. "You still don't understand," I said. "I don't belong here." He leaned forward. "Then I'll build somewhere you do." The words were too much, too bright, too fragile. I shook my head. "Don't promise things in the rain." They sound truer than they are. He smiled. Then I'll promise in the morning. Outside, thunder murmured like a secret trying to forgive itself. He reached across the table, his hand stopping just short of mine. Stay, he said. I didn't move. Maybe I was tired of running from kindness. Weeks later, the newspapers printed a story about the Vail Group's new foundation for hospitality workers. The headline read, "A Promise of Dignity." The article said the CEO credited an anonymous inspiration. He never mentioned my name. That was the kindest part. I still clean sometimes. Different hotels, different cities. Sometimes I pass lobbies where the staff look up, startled, as if I'm a story they half remember. Maybe I am. One evening, months later, a bouquet of lilies arrived at my door with a note attached. For the one night you borrowed the wrong name and found the right truth. E. I smiled, set the flowers in a chipped glass, and opened the window. The rain came in soft, washing dust off the sill. I whispered to the air, not sure if I meant him, the past, or both. Thank you.